Howdy y'all, JT here with a tournament battle report, Daughters of Khaine. So, let's get ready to roll. Alright, in this battle report, I take my Daughters of Khaine to Atomic Hobby Shop in Cypress, Texas for a 3-round, 1-day tournament. Uh, lots of guys there from the Texas Master Circuit that'll be playing in this tournament. Also, this is sort of the warm up for the Lone Star Open, which will take place this coming weekend, and I'll be taking the same list. A lot of the people there are going to that tournament, and they're playing the list for that tournament. It's a warm up using a couple of the missions from that packet. Um, so I'm taking my Daughters of Khaine. We'll go over the list in a second, and then I'll show you where I'm at with painting and stuff. But before we get into that, if you follow the channel a good bit, I have been playing with Daughters of Khaine pretty much all of this year, maybe even going back to early December, and I haven't been that successful. Daughters of Khaine is a top tier army, and for whatever reason, I haven't found my groove with it. I've had some good games, and I've felt that I've been competitive in a lot of the games I've played at these tournaments. I probably run 3 or 4 different tournaments, switched up the list a little bit. I've changed, I went Hagnar, Keltnar, back and forth a little bit. I just haven't really caught my groove, and sometimes, some of the swings didn't go my way, some of the rolls didn't go my way. But at the end of the day, haven't been super successful with them. But I'm hoping that coming into the Dallas tournament, that I'm just going for 3 wins. That's what I always shoot for at a GT. If I can win 3 out of 5, I'm generally happy. So that's what I'm going for. So as of right now, let's just look at the list real quick, show you what I'm working with here. So we've got Daughters of Khaine, Keltnar, and a lot of consternation on that. A lot of people hate Keltnar. A lot of people say, go Hagnar. It is superior. I I I like them both. I think both are super viable, just according to your play style, what you want to do. Hagnar is a little bit more survivable. Keltnar is has a little bit more utility, so it's kind of why I'm leaning that. Grand strategies hold the line. And for leaders, we got the Iron Scale, which is the general, and it's going to have circling flock and the artifact. Circling flock is going to allow me to drop in a unit of 5 Kinnerai in at the end of a movement phase. So basically a free 90 points, 100 points worth of models, which is super nice. I find they have a lot of utility, not only for grabbing a back objective, but also some screening too. You can drop them in some place that you want to screen something out, or you want to put a roadblock in front of somebody. Their shooting attack is okay when they come down, but don't expect them to do much damage. However, they super light utility. They're very fast. All right, Marathi Kane. She knows all the lores, but War Scroll Builders is still making you only pick one. And if I was to pick one, I'd probably pick the Mind Razor. Shadow Queen is there too. If you play any any Daughters of Khaine, you probably have seen that combination. Wrath of Khaine, with knowing all the lores, is very versatile, and it sort of allowed me to take out the Medusa because now she can cast everything, so I don't need that extra spell like a Mirror Dance or something like that. I have them all at my disposal, and it makes it pretty nice. Units: 10 Blood Sisters, 15 Blood Stalkers, and the witches with sacrificial knives. I've said this before. If I would have painted, I have about 40 witches with sacrificial knives painted. If I had 20 with the bucklers, that's the way I would actually roll with them. I like the bucklers for the use that I'm having with these witches a little bit better. They're just basically there to screen the stalkers. That's pretty much it. That's why you're taking them. Screen the stalkers. They can put out some damage. I mean, they do have a pretty good volume of attack, but their main purpose is to be a speed bump. The Blood Sisters. Early on, I didn't really invest too much in the Blood Sisters, but I tell you what, they are kind of worth it. Their damage output, especially if you put Mind Razor on them, is pretty good. You're getting about 80 damage with that unit of 10 with Mind Razor. I mean, a max of 80 damage. So it's they're a very good unit. Even unbuffed, they hit pretty hard. A little bit squishier than you think, but everything in this army other than the Shadow Queen is squishy. So there's not a lot of high armor saves. So everything tends to die. The Bloodstalkers, everybody knows what they do. They shoot mortal wounds, and you can shoot twice if Morathi's there. The other addition into the army is the Ishlan Guard. This was Gavin's idea. Thank you, Gavin. I know some of the top dock players are running them in there, and I do like the utility. They pair really well with the Shadow Queen moving up the board. They can eat up an Overwatch on the charge. They're pretty much a 3-up armor save, an unrentable armor save. They have a decent volume of attacks, nothing super great, but if they run into something pretty squishy, they can put a couple wounds on it. However, it's their speed that I really like. And since the oval bases are there, they do take up a little bit of board, and I find that they work pretty independent pretty well. So if the setup is like, I want to run the Shadow Queen with the Bloodstalkers and do something with them, the Ishlan Guard can hang back and control a flank or go capture a point. For 155 points, they're, I don't want to call them a disposable unit, but they tend to screen really well. Also, they allow me to, ferocious advance with the 2 heroes, and them can do it. So therefore, my witch elves could be a bit further up, or maybe my Bloodstalkers can still shoot. So it gives me some battle tactics that I can actually work with as well. We're sitting with a battle regiment for a 1-drop, and total points is 1990. And of course, the Triumph is inspired. 106 wounds, slightly deceiving because Morathi will soak up a little bit more than that. But yeah, it's 100. It's 106 wounds. It's with a low armor save. So the army tends to be squishy, and that's one thing that I found personally playing with this that I'm having to wrap my mind around is how much of a glass cannon it is. Because when it hits, it generally hits pretty hard. And if you get the double turn ever with them, it can end games for your opponent, because 4 shootings in a row with the Stalkers are a good hard hit from the Blood Sisters can delete units. So getting double turns and playing for double turns is kind of really nice. If you play too defensive with this list, I mean, you can do it, and let the opponent come to you. But the one thing is, if you get lucky and get that double turn ever, you really change the game around. All right, so there's the list. We're going to go into a little overview of what the Army's current painting state looks like, and then we'll jump right into the first game.
All right, we got the finished Army. So we didn't get to do this at home, so we'll just take you through. We finished painting everything. The only thing that's sort of out of place is the Ishlan Guard. They're super bright compared to everything else, but when and if I do a Iadith army, that's the color scheme I want to go with. We'll just change the bases out later for those guys. So this is the full painted army and the kit. This is sort of how I do my tournament. We've got tack templates, markers, dice, and everything else. We're here at round 1. We got playing Caleb, and Caleb has brought Eternal Conflagration. His list will be online. 3 units of pinks, a bunch of heroes, a bunch of flamers. We are playing Tectonic, right? Yeah, and I deploy. He's a 2-drop, and I'm a 1-drop. I deploy first. I generally don't want to take the first turn, but I think against his army, I'm going to have to try to get on or get my army up on the points. If the pinks surround the points, I'll never get them back. So I'm going to take the first turn.
Thinking about intimidating that would be, but I didn't make.
All right, finished up my turn. Not a bad turn. I killed 50 pinks over here. My magic phase went beautiful. I was able to get off Black Core, rolled a 1 on the Magister. I was able to get off Mind Razor, and I put it on the bow snakes there. And I mean the combat snakes. I moved up. I took aggressive expansion for my 2 points here, and that was the primary. I continued to split shots with the bow snakes, was a huge problem because notice that he's got flamers alive and his Magister has 1 wound remaining. The 2 things that I wanted to kill out of his army is still alive. I went ahead and dropped the Khaine in to claim that point just because I didn't have any other good spot to put him right now, and I was going to probably be out and not get that. So I went ahead and put them down. So I ended up getting the battle tactic for 2 points. I get the primary for another 2 points and the other ones. So I think I ended up with 5. So 2, 4, 5, 6. So 6-0 going into Zinch's turn. All right, so Caleb, his turn. He had a so-so magic phase. The best thing he got was the Changeling stole Black Horror and killed an eel. A lot of his other casting didn't go off. Did a couple mortal wounds here and there. And the big thing, he took Conquer to take this point. He did do that, so he completed his battle tactic. He held that, so he gets 4 points. He didn't take this. We tied at 20. It was super close. To be honest, the shooting was a little flat. Like it was a lot of. There's a lot of not good rolls, and I made some armor saves. Marathi did get 3 wounds on her. Sort of over here is stagnant, and so we ended up with 4 points to 6, and we're going into the priority roll for turn 2. All right, I'm going to take it. We're going to decide, well, before it's said, we see what side the point goes to. 1, 2, well, if you want to roll it, you roll it because you rolled it last time, or do you want to keep it down there? It's up to you. 1, it'll stay down there. The point's staying. I'm going to take the turn, and I'm going to go in. All right, huge turn. I won the roll off. I picked Kill a Battle Line. He had 3 flamers there. I was trying to do it with Marathi, but I wanted to take a few wounds off, and I ended up shooting him to death just for good rolls. The Marathi other shooting, I killed the Curseling with shooting from the bow snakes, and basically after that it was sort of I pulled out of combat here to recharge. My general came up to get into that combat. I just pretty much said I'm not going to have the damage output to do everything I want, so I just left that unit of pinks pretty much along. The combat snakes made a good charge into his Gaunt Summoner and his Magister, killed them. Marathi made it into the Change Caster, killed that one, and so right now he's got his unit of pinks and it's going into his turn, and that's it. His score is 10 to 4. Well, Caleb didn't have a lot to do with his unit of pinks. He picked Destroy a Battle Line, and he went here for maybe got lucky and shot the eels off and then got over there. That was pretty much all he had. So he just sat, only killed 1 eel. The last eel has 1 wound left, and he still got the point. He scored 2 for that, and we're pretty much wrapping up on time. But we will roll off to see if he can get some more points. So we'll see. I got a 4. Go ahead. To a 6. He can take it. You go ahead and roll the primary objective now. Switches to the middle, so you end up with pretty much 1 point this turn. All right, well, we're going to talk it out and figure it out. So we're just wrapped up. We end up with a final score of, I believe, what was the final score? 13 to 18, or 10 to 18? Because you had 7.
Yeah, I had 10. I think you had 18.
And we sort of wrapped up from time on that, and so he got his grand strategy of keeping the unit of pinks alive, and we were just sort of talking over Zinch's tactic. So, good game, man. I appreciate it, and see you next tournament. Good luck for the rest of the day.
All right, so game 1 was against Caleb. 3 units of pinks are always pretty scary proposition for anybody because that's so many wounds to go through. And he was backed up with some good casting. His flamers were going to be his damage output. So at deployment, I pretty much knew like, hey, if I win the drop and I'm going first on this, I have to hopefully shoot his flamers. Because that was going to be the his primary damage output that could just nuke all my snakes or nuke whatever. So by taking the first turn and having that sort of our territories be somewhat close, I was able to make the decision. Okay, let's just go all in. Let's smash hard on the left flank and try to roll the left flank up with Marathi and the Blood Sisters, and we'll shoot everything we can to kill all the flamers on the right. My shooting didn't go because, once again, old Imperial Guard, you shoot with everything until what you want is dead. Well, I keep doing the math and I keep thinking, okay, if I split this, I can kill this. And then I kept splitting fire and things were not dying all the way. That was my fault 100%. But I did get lucky with the combat on the left and was able to, take out, pretty much put 50 plus wounds between Marathi and the Bloodstalkers onto the unit of pinks to the right and was able to nuke them. Now, we were talking about this after the match. The one thing that good about Doc and their damage, they sort of play into killing pinks and sort of zombies really well because they have a mass amount of attacks and a lot of it's low rend or no rend. So for them to clear hordes, they're kind of good at it. And you sort of saw it right there that not only did my units on the, my left flank able to basically, put out more than 50 wounds in one turn, my center unit of sisters was also able to really work that center unit pretty well and knock them down 20 wounds or more during their combat. Getting the double turn was pretty much, going back, you get the double turn with daughters, and if you're in a good spot, it can be game over for a lot of opponents. It's a real, risk reward type army, and I was in a good position. Not only that, I won the roll, and I really put him on the back foot with that. It was a good game. We only made it turn 3. Just because there were so many moving parts in this, so much casting and things like that. But it was a fun game, and I was excited to get a win at the first of the day and move on to game number 2. So that's coming up right now. All right, so we are playing Survival of the Fittest. I'm here with TJ, a Ground-Based Heroes. Beautiful, beautiful ice giant, frost giant list.
One of those things.
Yeah. So I outdropped him. I'm set up like so. I am highly debating on going first to try to get damage in, but if he double turns me, it might be super ugly. So I think I'm gonna let TJ go first. I think it might be the wrong option. It might be good to get out there and like get wounds on a giant, but we'll let him come in.
Marauders go in.
It's like a part of it. All right, so I let TJ go first. Probably a bad idea. I probably should have ran up and locked the 2 giants on the right with Marathi. He got his battle tactic, which was to take the 2 aggressive expansion, and he didn't kill a predator with a predator yet, so that's good. And you end up how many points total? 5 total points. But he's in a really good position going into my turn right now. Marathi only did 4 wounds over there to that, and we did 1 over here and took 3 in return. So the Witch Elf screen is gone. So that's the big thing. All right, so not a horrible turn. I ended up with 6 points because I picked to bring it down. I killed a monster with a monster. I treated the battle tactic. It was a predator with Marathi, and I killed it with Marathi. So I got a lot of points there. He only did 1 damage. Well, he did 2 from the fall into Marathi and killed 1 snake. So that's where we're sitting. But as you can tell, it's very worrisome. It's very worrisome here. I need to win this roll. 4? Yep. Good game, sir. All right.
You still in it?
Well, not the absolute most horrible worst thing. He moved over here. He took Monster Stake over to take this point. Took it, killed the eels. His Gatebreaker and his War Stomper, right? 1 and 1. Came over here and got down to 1 snake. She's still in combat. I was hoping that I might could pull her out. That would have been awesome, maybe to rally. And that's where we're sitting going into my turn. What's the total score right now?
10-6, middle of turn 2.
All right, there we go. All right, so not horrible turn. I got 5 points for holding 1, holding 2, holding more. My Kennerai came down for a conquer, and I took that middle point. I'm glad I didn't. I almost took line breaker on here, and I'm glad I didn't. I only did, 16 wounds total?
He had 5 on him originally before anything, so only 11.
Yeah, I only did 11 wounds with all that, but he didn't kill too much. In fact, I will burn hers to make sure that they auto pass, but it didn't even matter because they wouldn't have failed. What I need to do is I need a big roll here for this turn 3, because if not, ooh, it's bad. Got a 4, got a 6. There he goes, right there. All right, we're gonna play this out and see what happens. All right, TJ ended up pretty much wiping the board. He got 8 points total, and only because he won that. And I got to get a roll off at some point. I only got 2 models left alive, 2 technical units, so it's my turn. What can I do? I mean, look around and see if I can possibly get any tactics right now. All right, so my turn was very fast. I basically ran. I used the command ability here to give her a 2d6 run. I brought up, I ran there. I took bring it down because I'm not actually doing anything. I'm trying to get in a position with maybe to get a double turn, because if I get a double turn, I can move into his territory next turn and get another battle tactic. That's where we're at. We're going to roll off to go into turn 4. 1-6. There you go. And so no more battle tactics for me, I don't think. I'm going to shake hands. Good game, sir. And there it is.
So there was that game. I lost it. Personally, in my opinion, I lost it from deployment. Now, TJ was actually kind of worried going into this because of the damage output of Doc, and I think he's used to playing better Doc players than I am. So I should have. There was 2 things that I did wrong. If I knew that I was going to give him the first turn, I should have had my whole army pulled back further and more consolidated, so that all 4 of his giants couldn't slam into me at one time. That was one option. And maybe he would have took the bait. Maybe he would have just sat in the middle and said, okay, I'm sitting on the 3 points. Come get me. The other option was go full bore, run Marathi, well, not runner, but charge Marathi against the 2 over to my right, and try to take try to buff the stalkers and bring them over as well. Now, I didn't pass any casting. I don't think that first 2 turns, so I don't think I would have had much going on for damage output, and I was really worried about the distance, because measuring it all out, I said, hey, Marathi can make her charge. This sisters, if I got a good 2d6 run, they could make their charge as well. However, you never guarantee that, so I was really worried about going over there and not doing enough damage or not making it, him getting a turn, killing all my blood sisters, and then getting a double turn and him being into me and the game was over. So I was playing a little cautious. The problem is I didn't play cautious enough from deployment. So, and this was one of those things where he dropped one because he got to choose, and then I dropped my whole army, and then he dropped his other three. So I didn't fully get to see where everybody was at, and it's one of the things you just learn. And the last time I played Suns with these guys, I felt a little bit more confident. But this was a skull dragging, and I knew it from the minute that I lost that. I pretty much knew it from the minute when he moved up and charged all four into my line. I went, yeah, I think wasn't a good idea. So TJ's a fun opponent. He's a good guy. So it was fine being beat by him. He ended up taking third place at the tournament. So at least he had all those points he made for me to help elevate him up. But I tell you what, even though I didn't win the game, it was a good lesson for me, and just say, hey, if I've either got to play super cautious or I got to play super aggressive. I can't play that middle ground, which I did on this one because it didn't work out, and hope that I get the double turn, hope that I get the roll. If I got the double turn, I still don't even think that I would have been in that great of a position to do anything. I would have had to have killed two giants in that turn, or at least a giant and a half, to feel even confident that that turn was worth it. So at the end of the day, I made a huge mistake during deployment, and I kind of lost the game for it. So there you have it. We're 1-1 and moving into game number 3.
Christian, but Chris is good.
All right, hey, I'm here with Chris. We are playing Savage Games at game 3, and I have deployed like this. He's playing Soul Blight. The list will be in the description or be on the blog post. He's here, and I'm out dropped, so I'm going to give him first turn, let him do his thing. All right, so Chris moved up. He took aggressive expansion, right? And took the 2 center points with the Wolves. Sort of shuffled everything up. He ended up taking, got a total of 7 points this turn. And pulled up a little bit going into Daughter's turn. All right, so for my turn, casting spells. I got Mind Razor off, I got Misty Shield, I got Black Horde. Didn't do too much damage out here. I took aggressive expansion for the center points, and I got them. I managed. His wolves were a super pain to kill. I shot at him twice, and it was crazy. They couldn't kill him. I'm charging him with Marathi and my Kinrai. You notice that they're dead. They did 5 wounds or something to his Black Knights. Marathi he's got 2 wounds left over there. So I didn't even kill a single unit of Black Knights. And between return swings, because he popped Rousing Commander, and between return swings and then rolling a 6 on the battle shot, they died. And so my big plan to sneak over there, kill the Blood Knights, and take the point did not work. I got really close to it, but no cigar. So the biggest deal now is we're going into a roll-off for turn 2. There it is, 6-2. He's going to take it. All right, so not a super great turn for me. Not a super bad turn for either one of us, I don't think. He ended up moving. He got a couple spells off, and nothing too big. He got Manfred's signature spell that did some mortal wounds out there. Not too bad. But it did matter because he did 17 wounds with Vordry to the Witch Elves, and he basically killed him to a man with that spell. Retreated these out. I redeployed my Harpies because I didn't want them getting charged and obliterated, so there's that. He still controls the point because he has moved dogs, he moved Manfred and the one guy. He brought out his Blood Knights way back here in the back and made a 9-inch charge, got into the snakes, but luckily only did, from Overwatch, I killed 3.5 basically, yeah. A lot of damage, and the Eels finished off the one guy, and then there was a slap fight for the rest. So he scores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because his battle tactic was monsters take over here with a Vengorian Lord. I already told him that just looking at the way everything's going, I think that I'm going to need a double going into 3. He's got the advantage for sure. Well, that not the greatest turn I've ever had, and I've already said before we even went into this turn, I was like, hey, I'm going to need to get the double here because I'm in a bad spot. Didn't get any casting off. Didn't get an extra CP for heroic action. From not getting the spell off, I wasn't able to kill his Blood Knight with a spell, therefore allowing my girls to shoot something else. So basically I had to burn their hero phase shots into that one Blood Knight. The Khaine sort of pulled back up, took the point, and we put a lot of wounds into these Black Knights, but if you see, there's still one left with 1 wound. Also back there is 1 knight with 1 wound. Shot into Manfred, he rolled a 6 for his armor save. Shot with Marathi, rolled a 6 his armor save, made it. Basically charged in with Marathi and the guard died to the wounds. It was close. I did that basically to soak up the Overwatch, which he only ended up doing 2 wounds to. Marathi did take her full 3 and did 0 wounds back to him. So that's where we're sitting right now, and we're going to need to get a. As far as points go, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for my battle set. So 5. So I'm going to need to get this right now. Did you roll another 6?
I rolled another 6.
All right. It's not good. Not good for me. All right, so his turn was brutal as expected. He took Conquer at this point, got a couple spells off, and put Withering on Marathi. Took Conquering, came over here, made all his charges. He ate up the Overwatch with the 1 Blood Knight that I couldn't kill last phase. If I'd have killed it, maybe I would have got some more wounds in. I did a couple chip damage to Manfred. He has 1 on him still again. Marathi, once again, she was able to pile in and do everything the Vengorian Lord. Didn't do a single wound to him. So 2 rounds of combat. She has yet to do a wound to the Vengorian Lord or to Radikar, right? Not Radikar, Vordre. So that's where we're sitting and going into my turn. So let's see if I can do anything. All right, so we wrapped up turn 3. They called time, and yeah, you can try your wolves back if you want to. What'd you roll? No. All right, so I took take a Conquer to take my point back, and I put everything I could into the Vengorian Lord. I did a total of 6 wounds to him. That wasn't enough. So I scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I scored 5. And I'm going to roll this priority to see if I can win a priority. And I've done it once today. A 4. A 5. Okay, so he took the priority anyway. All right, man. Well, we're wrapping this up. Good game. We're going to figure out some points. I'm sure there's a battle tactic he can get for winning that priority real quick. We'll add up the points and call it a day.
All right, so this was my first game playing Christian. Super nice guy. He actually commented that, hey, I've watched some of your videos for Soul Blight and they've been helpful. He's sort of new, I think. I don't want to say new, but definitely I haven't seen him at any tournaments that I remember. So just learning the game. Fun opponent, very gracious, very nice. It was a good game other than getting smacked around all over the table. As far as going back, I do know a good deal about Soul Blight, and I know that you need to shoot the Vengorian Lord early and get him off the table. I know that. That's usually my number 1 thing. In this scenario, there was the Witch Fate Tower right in the middle, and I didn't really have any line of sight to him until he popped out over. So that was one factor that kind of, that didn't help me. It was a running joke there for about the first 2 turns about the rolling, about basically he wasn't failing any armor saves. I wasn't hitting with anything, so there was a lot of discrepancy in that, and we were joking around. I don't think going back, I don't think my idea was horrible. I was able to, during my turn, giving him the first turn was right. He deployed really well. He has played Doc before, so he deployed really well. Didn't give me a lot of options for what I wanted to do. Therefore, I gave him the first turn. he was able to get the points. And I saw an inlet and a possibility that, hey, if I can go smash his 2 units of Blood Knights, and excuse me, I actually called them Black Knights a couple times, but destroy his 2 units of Blood Knights, get enough bodies on that point. That's a huge swing. Not only taking out his combat efficiency, but getting onto his point back there would be giant. Um, it seemed very close. Until he actually rolled all his attacks, and then there was some really minor, when we were going back and forth, there was some really minor things that went on with that combat. I couldn't kill 10 wolves. I got down to 9, so it sort of blocked some of the charging lanes I had to get onto his point. I wasn't able to fully engage Marathi where I wanted to because of these factors, the wolf he had there. I was able to kill the wolf with a stomp from her, therefore freeing up um, the sisters to actually pile into his Blood Knights. The problem was Marathi activated first because the way I was set up, I was at a good distance that I wanted him to activate first to pile into me so I could get all 10 of my sisters into his 5 knights. Well, the problem was that when I activated first, I activated Marathi with the intent of killing his 5 Blood Knights. I got him down to like 1 wound, 2 wounds. It was 1 wound on the last guy. Well, therefore, that allowed him to activate that guy first. Therefore, I had to activate my sisters and had an unadvantageous pile in. Once that happened, I only killed like 1, maybe 2 knights. He piled back and had a very good pile in to get all his attacks in. So, that to me was a huge swing. That was the big swing in the game, because not only that, he killed 7 sisters, and then I rolled a 6 for battle shock, and I was out of CP because I was all out attacking that turn. Bad tactic by me for sure. Other than that, in the game, I played it pretty close. I didn't find that I did anything super bad. I understand target priority. I understand the huge armor saves that Soul Blight come with, especially playing against the Blood Knights, Vampire Lords and Zombie Dragon. And I understand that my combat efficiency and melee is going to be pretty weak because of their high armor save. And that's what it was. When I wasn't able to really remove enough of his pieces real quick and early, he was able to gang up on me and take me out. But it was a fun game. It was for sure a loss. Not a soul crushing defeat, but definitely a good strong win by him. And once again, just still learning this army, playing, and trying to get better. That's where I'm at. Like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the video, I'm probably the worst competitive dock player that you'll ever find. So hey guys, if you see me in Dallas, don't be that scared. It's not like I know what I'm doing. But right now, I'm getting ready. I'm getting packed, getting ready to head to Dallas. Next video that y'all see on the channel should be the part 1 of the Lone Star Open battle report. So hopefully I'm going for 3 wins. That's what I'm shooting for. Wish me luck, guys. With that being said, thanks for watching, and y'all be good.